Hello, Perceptive readers. This is James Lynch, and welcome to this podcast. Today happens to be Sunday, but I may not post this publicly, I'm pretty sure about it, on the official James Poetry podcast until Wednesday, because, I'm only doing these publicly for once a week, even though you can go to the buymeacoffee.com, James Poetry, and you can find the other intriguing topics that I talk about throughout the week. Okay, so this one will go there, within a few hours today, and then it'll most likely come again. You see, you'll hear it again on the official, the public podcast. Okay. Now, what I want to share with you is this. If you want to take a line of reasoning or thought on this matter, is this. Even though uh, there are authorities, you see what I'm saying? Um, there are hierarchical structures and things of that nature. The spirit of God's law is not to take full advantage of it. Here is what I mean by that. Okay, did you know when Jesus was on the earth, you see, he gave instructions about how you're to view the ones in authority. And in this case, it was the Jewish, Judeo, or what have you, Christian, still law covenant time. You see what I'm saying? They didn't have the authority that they had when, they were totally having God as their ruler or king. You see, uh, I don't know if you knew this or not. Some most likely have. But see, even the kings, remember when they had their men who would go and fight for the king and save the lands and things of that nature during the reign of Solomon. That was a reign of peace during that time. But still, all the same, the people were protected. They had their own land, and especially during that reign of Solomon, the scriptures came true where God was saying, you see, you follow me and I will be sure to put the dread of the nations, you see, toward you. So in other words, God was saying, they're going to leave you alone. They're not going to mess with you. And that's really what was going on. And with that, so they had their own land. They were dwelling in security. You see what I'm saying? And all they were supposed to do was obey the 10 words, which, represented the whole law, covenant, and make sure they kept up with the Sabbath. You see, remember, they were able to work 6 days a week. And then the seventh day, they were supposed to chill out and and worship God. You see, express their appreciation for God, show their appreciation. So they shouldn't have been out, tilling the fields and things of that nature. In time, what happened is the people, they just, guess what? Yep, they were working constantly, 7 days a week. You see what I'm saying? And so that appreciation was going away. And that's one of the things that God was even saying, that, boy, they don't pay no attention to me no more at all. Do you see any similarities today? Now, still keeping that in mind, when Jesus came on the earth, you see, you still had the priesthood, you see, set up for the synagogues and things of that nature. And even though they were under the Roman jurisdiction, it's so interesting in one sense, and this is just me really talking personal, is that they were not supposed to really, you see, have this corporal punishment, so to speak. To just be going about and putting people to death. Remember, even when they wanted to put Jesus to death, then all of a sudden, you see, they one time were saying it wouldn't be right for them to do it because of the Romans and things of that nature. And all the same, in the end, Pilate still said, "Look, I wash my hands of it. Yeah, you all do what do what you gonna do or want to do or what have you." In other words, whatever decision that these religious leaders were making, see, what happened is Pilate just went along with it, even though he didn't have to go along with it. So keep that in mind. When Jesus was on the earth, he still told his disciples to do what they say, but not as they do. Don't have the same attitude. If they do corrupt practices, that don't mean you go and do the corrupt practices. You see what I'm saying? And so in the book of Hebrews, or the letter of Hebrews, it still talks about basically being obedient so that the ones in, over your charge or in charge of you do not sigh. And seeing at the same time, there's other scriptures that goes to show that God does not want his flock being treated badly either. And that there were instructions on how you even treat someone who has become lost, like a sheep or what have you. Now, with that still, you see, in mind, this is what I want to talk about or mention about the authority of it all. There are persons, and they still, and persons still teach this, and there's nothing wrong with teaching it at all. I'm just telling you that it just makes me think to some of the ones that whose mindset was already towards God's new world in the first place, a lot of persons. And so they were already saying, well, we got to already start getting in the right mindset. You see what I'm saying? And nothing wrong with it. You got a lot of people, I told you, they just as, in one sense I say they already perfect, even though they're not. But, there's some people I just say that just got such wonderful personalities and things of that nature. And so the thing about it is, for the ones who maybe have stronger will, as people would call sometimes, or what have you, then sometimes there are, disagreements. And what happens at times, and because this is just human nature, you may hear somebody say, well, you do this just because this is just my authority. And that's the right thing to do. Okay? And that's the way they take it. Now, this is just something I want you to still think about here. When Jesus was on the earth, I keep emphasizing because this is the point I'm getting to. When he was talking about those religious leaders, he still pointed out that by them missing the spirit of the law, and then always falling back on that statement about this is my position, so to speak. I'm in charge of this, so to speak. You know what they were doing with that position and that authority? They were actually instructing the people at times to be dishonorable, lie, steal, and cheat, all because of their authority. Jesus talked about that. There was a disrespect for parents. You see, stinginess was promoted. You see, greed was promoted. And so persons may wonder, even at times from the account of Ananias and Sapphira, the persons who said they had sold some property and they were giving every bit of it to the church, Peter and stuff like that. And Peter said, you're lying. And, they ended up dying for lying they were struck down. But see, that is something that went on all the same quite a bit during those days, even with the synagogues and everything, where people wanted the what, the front place in the pews. You see, they in order to get those seats at the pews, to be recognized that they gave some type of large contribution to the priest or the synagogue or whatever, then that's how they got those front places. You see, do you see some of the same way of doing things today? Now, what Jesus still showed is this. Yes, we have a hierarchical structure as well. We have an authority structure. And perceptive readers, this is still what I've come to at least observe. Another reason why we obey these systems and things of that nature is because guess what? It keeps us civilized. So Jesus was still saying, and that's why that system, those men end up being condemned because of the way they were caring about their position. He was still, once again, trying to encourage the people while he was around them. All the same, he did let them know that, yeah, they're in place right now, and God is trying to get them together because what they're trying to still instill in you and even telling you to do and almost like promoting it. Remember, I told you to lie, steal, and cheat, really, and to be dishonorable, like I told you, even towards parents. They said, no, that's not right. But in order to stay civilized, you see, to use that term, even in this spiritual setting, sometimes we just have to put up with it. You see, sometimes we do. And yet at the same time, I keep telling you, there are examples in the scriptures where you already know at the way some of these ones are abusing their authority come at you. I told you, it's better to be a live dog than a dead lion. You see what I'm saying? A live dog than a dead lion. So you can take that and apply that in your situations or what have you. But keep doing the best you can. Have a wonderful day, Perceptive Readers.